All right, so our previous videos have covered the kind of foundational concepts and terminology discussed in chapter 1. It's a pretty dense chapter, so there's a couple of videos for it. But this now will begin our print unit. And so as I said in the previous videos, we're going to be working historically, with somewhat chronologically, and we're going to be talking about, fundamentally dividing the course in terms of the progression of media technologies and kind of the way in which industries have grown up around them. So the overarching considerations in each unit. This is not just unique to the print unit. This is going to apply to any sort of media topic that we talk about. First of all, how did it develop? Why did it develop when it did? Who was involved? What were the factors, kind of involved in making it possible for not only maybe for a technology to exist, like as an invention, but for it to take off as an industry? Or as something that people could sell or use to do some particularly popular thing, right? So we're going to talk about that with print and with every other media technology that we talk about too. And then the second thing is, what's the impact on culture and society? Broadly speaking, what do people do with it? Does it reshape social relations? Does it help to spread kind of different cultural ideas? And sort of how are these things determined by what the technology can do, or what we might call its technical architecture, and also by the kinds of rules, if let's say it's legally regulated in some way, as we'll learn a lot of electronic media is, and by, sort of fundamental questions about who owns it, and who doesn't have access to it, maybe. So those are just really the overarching questions to keep in mind. The first bit of the slides here, and I'm going to just go through these really quickly. You'll see are kind of just an overview of some technologies of printing that are not really mechanized, so they didn't create mass communication technically. And these are interesting to see the progression. And the textbook chapter will go into a little more detail than this, obviously. So if you're curious, see what these things looked like, and kind of who did what when, go through this. But it's conceptually not particularly important to the overall unit, because it's not until the printing press that we get to true mass communication through the kind of mass reproduction of print texts. And so we will talk about the printing press as the sort of quintessential, formative mass communication technology. And so then in the next videos, we'll go into how the printing press developed and what its significance was, and then